Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament match. This is a top 16 game 3, also known as third round, between Eriror and shadyforce. So Eriror was able to take game 2 of this series, while shadyforce took game 1. I'm joined here in the commentary by Tracy M. Tracy, how did these other two games go?
Well, I'll let you talk about the first game. I think you saw a little bit more of that one. Yesterday's game came down to a flute on the magic bat. Error had, at the time, he got his mirror a little bit early, did all the South Darkworld checks before he went into Thieves Town. Thieves Town, Blind had the powder, so it's very easy for him to, at that point, just mirror portal and jump into the bat and grab that flute. Shady, on the other hand, didn't get that mirror, didn't do those checks earlier, so when he finished up Thieves Town and got that powder, he wanted to preserve that portal for other checks, to do like K45 and Purple Chest, and missed that bat, and there really wasn't anything to lead him back there until he got a hammer much later. So he missed that flute for a long time. Flute led to a hook shot in Misery Mire, and it was too big a lead for Shady to come back from.
Yeah, and then the first game of this was just a good old-fashioned ice rod hunt. Good old close game, but then it all came down to who decided to go where the ice rod ended up being.
Yeah, ice rod hunts are the worst. that go -1 item, when the whole world is open, that's a hard one to deal with.
I'm just finding $20 here in this first chest, and no super nice help early on.
I mean, the $20 can sometimes make a small difference when you're in Kakariko if you have to buy bombs there. But yeah, not really a big help at this point.
Yeah, those money and early bomb jumps are a lot more valuable early. Not to say that 20 is particularly nice, but it's definitely nicer in this early game than it will be later.
And not the single rupee or anything. So, I mean, it could be worse, but definitely not what we're looking for at this point. Let's see what we get as our first item. Always a little funny when your go mode item, at least Aries go mode item from the previous game, ends up being your first item for the next game. Seems to happen more often than it really should.
Yeah, I think after having to deal with Hammer and Ice Palace, you're really happy to get that early. Also, happy to get those boots really early, so we're going to have a lot of going fast this season.
Yeah, so I was about to talk about the fact that first soldier dropped 5 rupees, which means they're in the rupee prize pack, which means no bombs there. But with the boots, we won't need bombs to get the items in the back of Escape.
Yeah, the boots are just so nice.
Might kill a few rats to see if they will drop some bombs just because of... Oh, this is interesting. Shady going to the right. Most people don't do that. But bombs for Kakariko would be nice too, but not too worried about it. At least we're definitely not gonna be leaving the Escape without checking those chests in the back, so...
Yeah, and with those, whenever you can get those boots early, you just get to go so much faster through Escape, and like you mentioned, not having to worry about bombs at all. It just makes it just another reason why your Escape goes even faster. So, looking forward to some really quick escapes here.
Do have to worry about bonking. You can't do a hammer dash without a sword, so you're gonna have to make sure you stop before you hit the soldiers. So you're not gonna be able to run right through the soldiers without a sword, unless we find one in one of these next checks, or more rupees.
And in case we haven't mentioned, this is going to be the hard item pool, just like all the other tournament races. So no silver arrows or gold sword, and we'll be capped off at 14 hearts today.
Yep, and of course, most significantly, that green mail. Won't be getting any help on the mail upgrades.
Yep, have to be just a little bit more careful in this hard item pool without any of those mail upgrades.
And there's that small key that we're required to get before we go through the Escape.
Yep, we're always going to get a key and a map in the Escape sequence. Have not seen that map yet, so that could be in in the next chest, or the back 3, or also the Sanctuary chest.
Also, Ari remembering it's a little bit faster to climb these stairs here and go the direction up from the top when you have boots.
Yep, just a little bit of routing differences when in the Escape sequence. You're not used to having the boots in here because you don't normally get those till after Eastern Palace.
Yeah, Aries gonna have to be a little more careful there with those boots. Don't want to run into soldiers when you don't have a sword.
Yeah, just have to be a little bit more careful with your boots when you don't have the sword. It's really nice to be able to knock enemies out of the way, even if it's just the fighter's sword. Whereas when you don't have the boot or the sword, you just have to be a little bit more careful about where you're going. And we'll see if the rats are going to be in a bomb dropping pack, probably, just to see if we can get a few bombs for Kakariko. We're probably not going to see any sort of like excessive farming, just a quick check.
Yeah, if they're in the bomb pack or if they're in the prize pack that gives you the 8 bombs at the end of it, might be worth going after them. But if it's literally any other pack, including the one that has a single bomb, probably not worth the trouble. And that's a heart piece. That doesn't do much good at the moment. Area not even going to bother.
And that full magic means there's not going to be any bombs in that pack at all, so no need to farm any more rats.
Full magic is nice to have, though.
Yeah, it definitely is nice. Saves time if you were to defeat a boss with no magic, and also just if you get any items that use magic, nice to have the magic.
I guess Eri doesn't want to go the 1 second out of the way to grab that magic drop. Looked like he was going to for a second. And there's that map. We haven't gotten anything else useful in Escape. Maybe the Sanctuary item will be interesting, but we'll see.
Yep, get the boots, and that is it.
Yeah, boots and our hammer. We might see an early lumberjack check. We don't see a lot of the early lumberjack checks because usually you go there if you are looking for bombs and or money resources at like the bush crab and the tree poles. But here when you already have the boots, that's the other time you check it, is when you first get your boots, because can't get the lumberjack item without, so why bother beforehand? But we already have the boots, so we might see that item right away.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of the perfect storm of reasons to go up there, because you're low on bombs, you're not particularly high on money, and you have the boots. So if you don't check it now, then it probably means you're just you don't like to check it early.
A whole lot of red rupees early. Bonk Rock's giving us more red rupees.
Looks like both these runners going to go up and check that lumberjack. Just green rupees from our tier 2 treat bowl today.
Blue rupees a little more interesting.
Yeah, this
bush crab
can be useful to top yourself off, maybe if you're going over towards the South Shore check sometimes. And just seeing a piece of heart there on lumberjack, not going to have to go back to get that item.
Yeah, if we're going to kill Aga, it's going to be for Dark World access. It will not be for the item. And a heart piece. Looks like Ari is going to grab it. Might have realized he was at that would be the 4th heart piece and would give him a nice free refill. Shady going to skip it. They do the drop down at the same time for another heart piece.
Yeah, sometimes getting a couple extra hearts early can be nice just because of those. We've seen some races decided by going over to Ice Rod Cave and getting knocked out by those crabs. So,
yeah, those crabs. 2 hearts of damage are pretty deadly, and much nicer tree pull with those red 20s.
Yeah, and that's our tier 1, so that's a pretty easy one to get. So if we're finding ourselves just a little bit short on money, there's a couple of places that are not right on the way, but it might be worth it for a tree pull. And both these runners are going to show off that bonk rock that gives you a bomb.
Oh, they're both going to farm more. I was wondering why they each went into the fortune teller shop. Each one wants a second bomb. And, I mean, you need 3 to get everything in Kakariko. But there's a pretty good chance that the Well or Blind's Hut will have some more bombs. So reasonable to stop it, too.
Yeah, and then you can at least do these top 2 places. And then if you need to buy bombs, you're on the way to the shop anyway. So you have to adjust your route.
An early book. Might be something in desert. Early books often lead to that sort of thing. You always want to get that book early or just not at all. Late book is a horrible thing.
Yeah, because then it's just those annoying little fetch quests normally when you get it late. But when you get the book and the boots early, you're definitely starting to think about desert. Probably going to want to look for a fire source like the lamp or the fire rod and a glove so that you can clear it. We don't know if it's a pendant or a crystal, but we'll want to think about that first.
Yeah, it's true. We have not seen a map check yet. And more red 20s. There's some bombs. And a bow.
All right, that's bow is really our first, other than that book, really our first nice item here in the front of Kakariko, because now you can probably see a map check soon, yeah, and it's just all crystals in the light world, because now we kind of have choices to make with regards to what dungeons we want to go to.
Yeah, with Eastern being a crystal, might do that pretty early.
Yep, full clearable crystal versus right now, I mean, they can go over to desert but not clear it, so it's a pretty nice choice if they're choosing which dungeon to go next.
The thing I like about the desert play is it gives you that Agena play for free, that nice sphere 1 check. But the Eastern play, you can full clear it. It's a crystal. So I definitely expect them to do that first, and then if they still need something, then head over to desert.
Yeah, like if you were to get the glove and the lamp, and that makes it more appealing. But even if you don't, like you're saying, there's just items over there that could be your Dark World access.
Eri gonna go buy some bombs. Shady's gonna go with just those 2. That might indicate that he may be going to Eastern a little bit early. Those bombs are real nice to have for Mini Moldorm Cave. Of course, you need the bomb to blow it up, but then he's got a bow and has a hammer, so he's got ways to kill the Moldorms without the bombs. So sometimes the bombs are just an easier thing to use. And we do see some flippers sitting there in the library that we can actually get because we have early boots.
Yep, always nice when you can just single dip the library like that. And yeah, definitely a good point about using the bombs for Mini Moldorm Cave. You can definitely kill the Mini Moldorms with the hammer and the bow, but it's not normally fun for those 2 items. Those Moldorms can be quite shifty.
Yeah, the bow just a little bit wonky, and of course the hammer just with that hitbox, it just sometimes it's very difficult to get to those Moldorms. Looks like they're both going to head over to Eastern though and do that first, which makes a lot of sense as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, full clearable crystal. You've got the 3 items in the back of Blind's hut, or not Blind, Saha's hut, and then yeah, you can just get your crystal and the 3 items in Eastern.
Yeah, you're gonna find out where the green pendant is at Pod, which when you have that early bow, and that bow often means there's something at Pod. Not really the thing you want to see as a pendant.
Yeah, and Pod, it being such an item-dense dungeon, often when it's a pendant, will have something you need in there.
It's not unusual, so you might see an earlier Pod play, but don't even have Dark World access. We need a glove and a Moon Pearl, or Aga Axis. Not looking great for Aga Axis since we don't have a lamp or a sword, but we'll see. The seeds can sometimes surprise you.
Yeah, anytime you get a hammer from the Uncle Aghanim just seems a lot less likely, but it still happens sometimes.
Yeah, it sure does. First item in Eastern, just the map. So let's go a little bit deeper.
Yeah, one thing, without the lamp, it's not as easy to get, but sometimes when runners are, they have Zoran logic early like this, you might see some runners dip into that rupee room to get the extra 90, but we'll see if either of the runners would like to do that without the lamp.
Yeah, I mean, not even the fire rod to light the torch is definitely a difficult item to get, a set of items to get. I don't see it happening, but, maybe we see a lamp before we get there. It's possible, although, yeah, we've seen both dungeon items, both a map and a compass. So,
yeah, the one thing though is these runners are pretty healthy right now, so I think it would be a little more likely because the anti-fairies in there can be pretty annoying and take some hits from them. But with as much hearts as they have, it's a little safer though. Without the sword, even it's pretty risky. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the 2 dark rooms in this dungeon, one I feel like is probably the easiest in the game, the one that is never going to be in logic without a lamp because there's no torches. The one with the torches, I think, is one of the hardest in the game. Unless you have a fire rod to light those torches. And we're going to see both of them and just... Actually, we're going to see black screens, but... they're going to do both of them.
Yep, and we saw all 3 of our items are the last 3 checks here. So oftentimes, if there's a 50-50 between the item being on Armos or on this big key, you'll see runners elect to skip this, where you'll save about a minute if there's no item back here. And if there is an item back here and you need it, you kind of just lose. But not going to have that today since there's a guaranteed item over here.
Both of them using the arrows from that bow to just kind of see where they're at. Shady getting through a little faster. Eri right behind. Just bombs. Which for Shady isn't that terrible a thing, as he's sitting there on 2, but Eri has a full 10 that he bought, so really not very useful for him.
Yeah, we'll see if the Armos Knights give us anything good, or maybe it was just only worth it to come over here for this crystal. And this isn't going to be in logic yet, because you need the fire rod or the lamp. And both these runners throwing off the strategy that you can use in the dark here. Just get some arrows into the Igor while he's got the eye closed so you can see where he is, and then you nudge your way up to wake him up and shoot him again.
I'll assume that's what they did, because, you know, it's all dark. But they were definitely shooting arrows.
Yeah, you can see the arrow get stuck in midair in the middle of the room. That's the telltale sign of where that Igor is. And we have to go through these. Killing those popos without the sword is much more annoying than you're used to. All right, we'll get to see Eriror uses a different quick kill than a lot of people. This is a very difficult one, but it's a little bit quicker.
I gotta believe he invented that one, because I've not seen it from anybody else.
That is a Yuzuhura special.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure I can remember all the directions that you have to go for that one. But it is really cool looking.
That's the sort of thing you do when you've got a top 3 NMG time, and you just are top 4, I guess, and anywhere you can look to cut it down.
And you just, win an NMG tournament here and there. Eri, the winner of the recent NMG tournament. Now we'll get some soft sword checks. I bet we find a lamp here. Those fire rods also possible, since that big key chest didn't have anything we cared about. Hey, there's some money.
Yeah, really nice there, because with the flippers and the boots, you can set up that water walk over to Zora. It's in logic. You can go over and get it. Both these runners having enough that 300 top them off.
Yeah, the water walk not necessary because of the flippers, but it does make things a lot faster. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did choose to do that. It's pretty convenient to set up from Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, it's just so nice to be able to dash all the way over there, and especially it makes even the checking the hobo a lot nicer too. We get a Bombos medallion here, which we may need for either Ice Palace entry or Misery Mire or Turtle Rock. We don't know. We still got 3 pendants in the Dark World, so it could be all 3 of those dungeons, but probably going to be at least one of them needed.
Yeah, Bombos, like any other medallion, definitely a to be determined item whether we need it or not. There's a glove.
For screen 20 of the game, but with that glove, we're just looking for our Moon Pearl now for Dark World access.
Yeah, so, probably not going to be killing Aga for it. The only way at this point that we'd have to go in there is if the Moon Pearl was sitting on the Pyramid Ledge, or, something that led to the Moon Pearl. Not likely at this point. Got lots of checks before we get to that point.
Yeah, but that's if it does end up being where we're close to doing ag, it kind of makes Desert Palace even more appealing because then if it's going to be an ag seed, you'd have to do you get the lamp in there anyway and you'll be able to full clear it. Yep. And if not, you can well, it's just going to be a nice location to look for that Moon Pearl.
Hey, vanilla ice rod.
Not gonna have to worry about an ice rod cannon.
Yeah, glad neither one skipped this. Although, I mean, it wouldn't be unusual to see a pendant Turtle Rock, especially finding that ice rod early.
Yeah, with the 3 pendants in the Dark World, it's not unlikely. And yeah, like you're saying, with the ice rod early, a lot of times it feels like Turtle Rock just ends up being a pendant.
Like Hylia Island with 10 arrows, never gonna go pick those up.
Yeah, and both these runners electing to take their water walk over to the hobo, which is always nice because this hobo check doesn't get much better than when you can just use the dash. I guess if you have the flippers and the mirror and are over by pod, that's a pretty nice time to check it, but otherwise the water walk's your next best bet.
Also note that they both skip that little shallow water section, because if you have actual flippers and you try and run through that, you will actually lose your water walk state.
Yeah, and that's another good point. So when you do have the flippers, it makes even more sense to go to the hobo because you can't even continue your water walk over to Zora because of that shallow water circle.
Okay, Waterfall Fairy gonna give us our next items. There's our Moon Pearl. And that's the second green 20, so those are going to be... One of those is our male upgrade, the other one could be the other male upgrade, it could be silvers. We're definitely way too early to be finding heart containers and heart pieces, and we don't even have a sword yet, so...
That was like bombs up there on the ledge.
Okay, yeah, that was really on the edge. I had a hard time seeing what that was.
We'll get another look, or if Fairy goes down to get it, then it might be something else, but I think it was bombs.
Yeah, it was. Well, Zora having nothing.
Just another scam today.
That's Dark World access without a sword. That's always fun.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of it looks like Eriror is going to do the go into Hype Cave, check your map, and then decide what else to do. He doesn't know about Green Pendant Pod. Shadyforce already knows that Pod is the Green Pendant, but otherwise doesn't know what the other 2 pendants are.
Also, we'll find out what both our 5-6 crystals are, since neither one is in the light world.
All right, so we got Pendant Turtle Rock and Skullwoods, and then our reds are on Swamp Palace and Ice.
There it is. Turtle Rock is a pendant as well, with that early ice rod. And interestingly enough, I believe Turtle Rock and Skullwoods were also pendants yesterday, so it could be the second seed in a row where we're just not going to see a fire rod.
Yeah, that's the one. Whenever you have Skullwoods and Turtle Rock both be pendants, you can end up just never finding the fire rod, and it can lead to some interesting situations like having to do that bomb jump in Ganon's Tower right side.
And we already have a Bombo, so we're not going to need a fire rod to do Ice Palace. Unless we don't find a sword. 3 swords in Ice Palace would be like a crazy meme, but that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, the only thing Hype Cave had for us was a Quake Medallion, which maybe gets needed to go into Misery Mire.
I've seen a bit of divergence here. Erirors are opting to do these the shovel and the stumpy south of Village of Outcast checks, whereas Shadyforce is going to go right over to that pyramid.
Art container. Let's see. Is he going to grab that? He is going to grab it. I mean, nothing wrong with getting a little extra health here. It's not uncommon to skip those kind of heart containers because you're probably going to run into one in a chest anyway.
Yeah, I think when you got Swordless Dark World going on, they're already pretty healthy, but an extra heart won't hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to see a catfish check from Shady. Eri going to head over to Village of Outcast. Might choose to do Thieves Town right now. We'll have to do, at the moment, a hammer blind fight, which is Probably the most difficult version of that fight. Other options would be either cane if we had one, but we don't. Ideally, you find a sword before you actually have to do that fight, but I'm sure Eri can do a hammer fight if he absolutely has to.
Yeah, and that Thieves' Town is right now the only crystal that we can full clear, so it makes a lot of sense.
Bottle at Catfish. That's an interesting item. It's our first bottle, so if Sick Kid has something and the other bottles are late, that could matter, or it could just be nothing.
Yeah, it's definitely nice there for shadyforce because he's going to do the same thing Ari's doing, go over to Village of Outcasts, and he'll be able to check the Sick Kid right away. Not having the mirror right now, it's you're going to have to check the Sick Kid before you go in there, and getting the bottle over there means he can do that.
Wow, that's not a good chess game. 6 rupees back on your 30 spent. Not as bad as a 20 at Zora, but it's pretty bad.
Yeah, luckily these runners are pretty good on money. Even if they have to buy the big bomb and pay for pod, they'll still have a little bit of money left over.
And Sick Kid just with the heart container, so nothing going on there. So if Eri never gets over to Catfish, you will be fine. Oh, there's that mirror.
Yeah, that'll make routing through these dungeons going forward and the Dark World in general nice. Also, so the way that Eriror routed this, he maybe might want to go north to Skullwoods and then those North Dark World checks, and the mirror will give him King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge.
And a flute. That's actually convenient because now he can mirror and activate that flute right after he's done with Thieves' Town.
Yeah, and that'll make the eventual going over to Desert once we get a lamp or fire rod more appealing if that were to come available.
Yep.
Also gives us our first logical mountain access.
Yeah, mountain wasn't too appealing. Still isn't really appealing yet because there's not a whole lot. Actually, it is now because the mirror and the hammer will get you over to the east side. But up until that point, yeah, they could have gotten up there, but it wasn't in logic, and not a whole lot you can do until you have a mirror or a hook shot.
Yeah, definitely wasn't an appealing play earlier. We also saw that cape in Thieves' Town, which maybe, again, if we're going to do the North Dark World checks, that would be a nice thing to have. Also, we got shadyforce decided to go into Skull Woods first here.
A lot of runners like to think of this as just another overworld spot. I tend to disagree just because there's so many keys and dungeon items, only 2 actual items. But, you know, if there's something here, again, Eri might be a while before Eri gets over here because it is a pendant dungeon. Really not the worst pendant to dip, though. Hey, there's that powder that played such a big role yesterday.
Yeah, nice early safety, and we'll let you check that magic bat.
And this time, Shady will have a hammer and a mirror, so won't have to. And of course, we don't even have mitts yet, so won't be doing any kind of abandonment if he wants to check that. Won't have to worry about those mirror portals. Not gonna check the middle chest. He's already found 1 item, so that makes sense. There's no guarantee that middle chest even has the other item. Could be in the back.
Yeah, definitely makes a lot of sense. And we'll get to get our first look at these North Dark World checks, and we see just a green rupee up there on the ledge, so we're not going to need to pick that one up.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Shady that he's checking that stuff now when everything he needs for that area is in Thieves' Town.
Yeah, it makes sense to not go any further, because can't get Graveyard Ledge, already did Catfish, can't even do King's Tomb, so nothing else up there for him. And now he's going to get the mirror right here.
A map in the big chest, so the last item's on blind. Oh wait, we haven't rescued the maiden yet. I sometimes will do this in the opposite order. You don't really see a lot of doing this in the opposite order. There's that compass. Okay, last item is on blind. And still no sword. You'll notice both runners doing all the checks in Village of Outcast before heading in here. That's in hopes that they do find a sword to make things a little bit better on this fight.
Yeah, because the hammer is not a fun blind fight what you were mentioning earlier.
First round goes well. And into the finish with the second round. I think that's as good as you can get that one. I think he took one hit at the very end there. Just some bombs, but Brent at the East Town had some interesting items. Back didn't have anything good.
Yep, but we get our full clear crystal. You're going to have to do this at some point, so I'm sure neither of these runners will feel too bad about coming in here.
So Eri going to have a choice at this point. He could do the North Darkworld checks, or he could head over down towards Cave 45. I'm going to guess can do that North stuff. Probably going to activate that flute first, though. Yep, there's that mirror.
And could even just elect to go up to the mountain here, with that being the most item-dense location. Though,
yeah, that'd be a fine play, too.
The one thing is, though, not having the fire source or the hook shot, you might get locked out of Tower of Hera, which is a crystal, so that could push you to do the North Dark World while you're here.
Okay, it looks like he's going to go ahead and do those North Dark World checks. With the boots, they're not too slow.
And we'll see if Eri elects to go into Skullwoods either. Sometimes, so a lot of times you kind of be worried about because some runners will just check Skullwoods right away. And maybe they got something there, but it looks like not going to go in there right now.
Okay, so he's the green rupee. Nope, not going to go to Skullwoods. Sometimes he'll do Bumper Ledge first, then head into Skullwoods. Not this time. I suspect he'll do the Graveyard Ledge and then flute straight from there to probably the mountain.
Yeah, probably not going to want to walk all the way over to the Catfish, especially with the extra mirror.
Yeah, and actually he'll do King's Tomb before fluting away, I think.
Yeah.
Money we don't need. Maybe he's gonna do Catfish. There's really no reason to. Oh wait, no, because we don't have myths, so definitely have to go back into the Dark World for this.
Yeah, because when you're over here without the myths, you don't have to come back over this way with the Dark World portal. You're getting just a heart container there in King's Tomb the runners are both pretty healthy, so not really going to be caring about heart containers going forward. And yeah, Eri's going to give us our first look at the mountain. Not going to rescue the old man just yet. Not in logic and don't have the sword, so it might be a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, it's not too bad to do that dark room with, say, the boomerang, but it's definitely slower. It's actually pretty fast, in my opinion, to do it with just a sword. And just, may just not want to do the slower check, especially when it's not in logic.
Nothing of note either on top of or in Spectacle Rock Cave today. So I'm going to go over to the Tower of Hera area. We'll see if we can... Tower of Hera is clearable or not without the fire source.
I'm going to check this tablet. I guess that's our other mail upgrade, which means we've seen the silvers end the first mail upgrade, because we saw those other 2 green 20s early on.
Yep. All right, so there's a compass.
It's not a good start.
So we need the big key here if these runners want to be able to complete this dungeon right now.
All right, we can. We can at least complete the dungeon. Hopefully there isn't an item in the basement.
Yeah, it's really rude when there's an item in the basement and you couldn't have gotten it anyway and you just have to skip it.
Yep.
I mean, the good part is your opponent most likely did that as well,
Yep.
but no, you just never want to come back here. You know that'll be a terrible race if both of you and your opponent end up last location in this.
But hey, you could come back and get the mail. No, wait, that's not a mail upgrade because it's hard mode. Eri, well versed in the NMG bomb jump here. Looks like he's going to do that first. He knows that he's going to have to check both these anyway.
Yep, in the early bomb jump there, an NMG staple. If you're really looking to save time on NMG, you can do what Eri did and go a little bit faster than that normal sword spin strat that you see. And also, not having the sword, it's a lot easier to do what he just did.
Okay, Shady going straight to the magic bat after yesterday. I don't blame him.
Yeah, and you dip the pendant dungeon to get that powder, so maybe you want to see if it pays off. And nothing today.
Not today. So he does have the extra safety, which is always nice, but if Eri never goes to Skullwoods, that's the only thing he's going to be missing.
And Eri did a great job there on that hammer Moldorm. Got rid of him pretty quickly. And we see the map there. So there's an item in the basement.
There's an item in the basement that we can't get. Tower Error is a little bit weird because lack of being able to go to the basement does not change the logic for Moldorm, because going down to get that, the only time Moldorm is not in logic is if it's exactly the big key in its vanilla location. So
yeah, because like sometimes for like blind, if you don't get the small key is locked in its own chest, then that changes the logic for blind because now it's hammer locked. But for Tower of Hera, just need that big key to get to Moldorm. Don't need that small key at all.
Yeah, our first look at Spiral Cave. Spiral Cave with boots and no sword kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
But has mitts. So
it's a pretty good time to get the mitts too.
Yeah, we got a few extra checks. Don't know the hovering prowess of either one of these runners, but we'll be able to get the extra checks, 3 extra checks in Super Buddy Cave and Hookshot Cave in Logic.
Yeah, we definitely have seen Eri hover in this series a couple times. I believe he actually just did a random hover to get across mini Moldorm Cave gap in the game 1. But mitts also let you do this nice little route here where you do Paradox and then go down. You walk over in the Dark World to Paradox entrance, mirror, do this, then jump down from Paradox, go right into Super Bunny Cave. It's really nice.
Yep. Oh, Candace Smart and her first sword. Yay. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that routing. And at 4 hearts, yeah, he's, the hovering is a little more possible because little low on health to take a whole lot of chances otherwise.
Yeah, and that sword and that cane right there, that could be our Turtle Rock, which is a pendant entry pack, because we needed to get a sword to use the medallion if we have the correct medallion, and you need the cane to get in the front door. We
also might have Mire accessible. As long as the big key is not on the left side there in the fire locked area.
Yep, as long as it's not Ether Medallion, then we can at least get in.
Yep, that too.
Yeah, when you getting the mitts here.
Go ahead.
It just makes it a lot easier to route in all of these checks because you don't have to go down the mountain more than once.
Yep. Meanwhile, Shady's going to follow everything that Eri's doing, which makes a lot of sense because this is a very item-dense area. Includes a clearable, well, he doesn't know it's clearable, but as it turns out, a clearable crystal dungeon.
And there's Eri getting his first bottle. We'll be able to check Sick Kid next time he's over in the Kakariko area for that. I believe it was a heart container.
Yeah, and with the flute, it's not hard to get over there, so he probably does check it at some point.
And with not having the fire rod, the Turtle Rock dip I think you'll probably see the runners do it here because the odds of you getting locked out early are pretty high, and you don't want to skip something that ends up being there.
Or we could find a fire rod right here.
Yeah, now that makes it more dicey because we can full clear Turtle Rock if we can get in. So I think you're kind of hoping if you're these runners that it's Ether Medallion, and we're gonna see the Eri go for that hover here.
He gets it. Okay. What are we even missing at this point? Our Mire Medallion, whatever that is. At least one more. at least one more sword is going to be necessary, and a hook shot.
Yeah, which obviously not going to find the hook shot here. Didn't find anything good here, but at least you don't have to worry about coming up here looking for a sword or Maya Medallion later.
Yeah, Eri probably hoping this is an ether. It is not. It is Bombos. So, not going to do it right away. Maybe he's going to head over to Spike Cave. You kind of have to choose between the two at this point. And it kind of makes sense because at this point he could go into Ice Palace. He could go into... You could see what's going on at Misery Mire.
Yeah, I think with that fire rod, it's just not worth going in there knowing that you can full clear it. If you didn't have the fire rod, you might go in there and peek and see if you get locked out early because it's nice and quick few checks. But we got too many crystals we can clear.
Yeah, we got desert available as well now.
Yeah, desert, potentially Mire, Ice Palace for sure, and then you can start thinking about dipping your pendants that just came into logic.
This is going to be close. Just enough magic and heart and health there to get through that.
Yeah, it's good that Eri had the 2 hearts there, because sometimes you'll see the cave run out on that last heart while you pick up the rock, and they're always rough. Yeah, Eri's definitely got to go buy some potions, because Ice Palace would make a lot of sense right now, but out of magic. With as much money as these runners have, can just buy blue potions both times rather than buying the green one first.
Yeah, and no half magic plus fighter sword, cold stare. Not exactly the best fight in the world. So this way he can, when he gets to that cold stare fight, if he runs low on health, he'll also get a nice refill for the fire rod usage.
Yeah, and it's actually funny how much having fighter sword versus no sword helps on cold stare, because if you can get that spin off to hit them in the corner, you can do a lot better fight with the hammer than if you have to try to hit the big puffs with the hammer and then they don't even knock the correct direction to get into the corner very easily. So that fighter sword does a lot of work.
And with the sword at all, he can use the bombos to do that first bit and then have 3/4 of the magic. That'd be 6 fire rod shots to do as much damage as you can. And then, of course, if you roll, then you probably only use the bottle if you're low on health and magic, and then you get the nice refill, and you can go ahead and use the fire rod at that point. Eri not quite getting those bombs thrown in the way to kill those pen gators quickly, but does manage to get through it.
Yeah, without the hookshot or the tempered sword, you really don't have much of a better option than bombs there. And there's the nice setup you can do with 2 bombs to knock out all of them at once, but I wasn't able to get that.
Interesting. Eri is going to go ahead and hit the switch. This guarantees that you won't have to, that if you get a late big key, you won't have to worry about it. The time that it really hurts you, well, if you're in go mode, you just always do that. The time it really hurts you is if you get all 3 items right away and then get a big key sitting on Ice Tea. Because with Icebreaker, that's the only real out-of-the-way location left in Ice Palace.
Yeah, you really like it when you can come in here and not have to worry about doing the Ice Tea room. We did get the big key in that Pengator room, so I was a bit surprised to see Eri like to hit that switch.
Yeah, some runners, I think, just do it always one way or the other.
Yeah, you'll never get hurt. You'll never get really burned by hitting the switch. You'll lose just the time it takes to hit the switch. Whereas sometimes if you don't hit the switch, you can lose a lot of time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've only seen the 1 item so far over here in Ice Palace.
If Ice Tea does have an item, you will lose any time you might have gained going for that item, but not gonna worry about that. Oh, and there's a shield, and we do need to bomb this area because no hook shot to clip through.
Shady's gonna look to open Turtle Rock. We'll see if he goes in at all. Probably not before going over to Hookshot Cave, but who knows?
It'd be almost better if he went in before, because we make it less likely he'd go in after, because he's gonna find that fire rod. Yeah, see what Eri has to do to go to Ice Tea. He's gonna have to drop down and come back up. Funny that when you go upstairs like that, it does not open those locked doors.
Yeah, the doors are one way. We'll see how far you can get without the fire rod today in Turtle Rock. Not very far at all, but that half magic's not bad.
Magic's nice. So Shady getting all the luxury items, but probably not going to save him enough time. He needs something else good to happen.
Yeah, I think if once you find that fire rod, I think you're gonna be able to think, no, I'm good. I don't have to go back into Turtle Rock to check anything else. I'm fine with just that half magic. All right, so Aries gonna have a bit of a not the easiest Cold Stare fight here, while being able to only take one hit from those puffs before you're in a bit of a scary situation. But the Bombos Medallion and being able to get that sword spin will help here. And it looks like Shady's gonna go for the hover as well.
Shoutouts to splash damage too. He doesn't have any more fire rod shots. Let's see if he's gonna do some hammer strats first. If he takes one more hit, I think he then goes to the blue potion.
Yep, not gonna need to use that blue potion.
Yeah, I really like the nice shovel. I do like the way he did that with not using that blue potion right away. You might as well use all your resources, and one of your resources is that health. And then, once you're low on health, then you can refill if you need to, and then you get both health and magic.
Yeah, because if you're in the situation where you have 3 hearts, then you probably would take the potion. So you could take a icicle, but not a puff. But right there, he could take either of them, so worth the risk.
And we're gonna take our first look at Misery Mire.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get in there with the medallions we have, or if we'll need to find that Ether Medallion. And that looked like Ether Medallion.
I did not get a good enough look because I thought I saw Quake. I'll trust you. Your eyes are better than mine, though.
We'll get another look at it real quick here on Shady's side as well.
You are correct. That is an Ether Medallion. So the second worst kind of item, the worst item, of course, is the Ice Rod. Ether. Almost as bad, but we are going to go ahead and do all these other checks. We got Checkerboard Cave, we got everything in Desert.
Yeah, because Ether locking Misery Mire is actually only one item worse than the Ice Rod. Because the problem with the Ice Rod is that it only locks one item in the game, so it can be basically anywhere. With that Ether Medallion, it's only locking 2 items, so not much better.
Not that it matters, since earlier we got the boots, but we do have a boots locked Desert.
Yep, that boots were our 3rd item of this game.
Yeah. Might find a lamp in here. We still haven't seen that.
Yeah, we haven't had to do any dark rooms except the eastern ones at this point.
Yeah, we're pretty dark room light. I mean, the Mire dark rooms will be necessary if we don't find a lamp.
Yeah,
the bigger deal, honestly, is that that lamp is really good for torch glitch, and on Eri in particular not having half magic, you really don't want, if we end up on Master Sword, you really don't want to be just 1 bar of magic with a Fire Rod torch glitch, because you literally have exactly enough if you get all triples with a Master Sword to beat Ganon. So if we don't see him picking up the half magic and or a lamp, expect to see him maybe even get another bottle of blue to just make sure he has plenty of magic for that fight.
Yeah, for sure. Once you the Master Sword, no half magic it's very, very tight. So I believe there's an item on the land mollusk here.
And of course, the other question is, when we're done with the dungeons that we can do, our choices are pretty crappy. We have Green Pendant Pod for 6 items. We have Turtle Rock for a de facto 6 items, although Shady's already gotten one of them. We have Hookless Swamp.
Ugh.
And I guess we have Smiths.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff open, and none of them are things that you would particularly
No,
like.
they're all terrible choices.
Yeah, I think Pendant Pod may be the nicest one, just because of the item density.
Yeah, I mean, Shady's already dipped TR, has gotten that half magic. Eri chose not to, chose to leave it behind. So, yeah, Pod commonly has things. I mean, I feel like you're going to do one of those dungeons before you're going to do a Hookless Swamp, but, you know, I mean, Hookless Swamp has been known to have a hook shot. Now, first we're going to do, I'm sure, Checkerboard Cave, and I don't think we've seen a Nagina check, so we might see that too. Oh yeah, Skullwoods is still out there. We know we've seen one item. There's another item in there. Ooh, yuck.
Yeah, you might see if Eri were to go over by the Smith chain, would probably be the next time we see anyone go up there, because Shady Force already got the powder out of there, so there's only one item in the back.
Yep.
I guess kind of the worst thing about Pod is that that's just been available. I mean, we don't have the lamp, but most of the chests in Pod have been available for a while. Though perhaps that fire rod putting like the rupee basement in logic.
Yeah,
maybe
it does.
You could be thinking about that.
And of course, Pod could have that lamp. Actually, as could Turtle Rock. Okay, we're not gonna find the key on the doorstep today. Eri gets to make. He's the first one that has to make the choice. He's got the flute out. Where are we going? Going to Kakariko. Oh, I'm gonna turn that bottle in. That's a quick check. Oh, a Seg Heart that was sitting there on Sick Kid. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's a nice one because you always need to find that if you want to get the full 14 hearts on this.
Yeah, Sank Heart's always Sank Heart no matter what. So like, you don't see it so much in hard mode, but in particular in expert mode, you could be sitting on 7 hearts for a really long time if you don't find that Sank Heart, which is pretty nasty. Yeah, Shady gonna get some potions. Probably gonna head over to do Ice Palace next as well. Eri gonna get his powder. Looks like he is gonna do Skullwoods first. This might be a ped check as well.
Yeah, because it can inform if you find the pedestal has something you need, though I guess that's the Ether Medallion, maybe the hook shot at this point. Then that would kind of make Turtle Rock a much more appealing play because it's so item dense and you know you have to do it. So getting a bit trolled by that wall master there.
That's not exactly how you draw this room up.
And chat pointing out that there was a heart container in the front of Skullwood, so actually no more items in the back. So Shady definitely won't be coming back here anytime soon.
Looks like Eri's gonna finish. Let's see if he might finish the dungeon or might check Ped, and then if Ped has nothing, maybe goes back to the front. I don't know. Yeah, Chad has more eyes on it, so somebody will have seen. Yeah, so this is going to be quite the dip for Eri. Looks like he is going to go ahead and full clear the back first. Which, if you're intending to finish the dungeon, is the way to do it. You don't often see, unless it's a green pendant, doing the back first on a pendant Skullwoods. But, I mean, you know, it's still a fighter sword moth, but he's got Fire Rod. You can do Fire Rod moth and switch to hammer. Or just do hammer moth.
And if the pedestal is not required, then this is going to be a straight time loss for Eri, not getting any items here. But so Shady Force can make up a little bit of time here if pedestal is not required. Yeah,
Eri in a slightly better position in terms of everything he's checked at the moment, but still, this is going to give Shady Force a chance to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, because they're pretty even in terms of what they've checked. Shady Force did that first check of Turtle Rock and then Pyramid Ledge plus Catfish, whereas Eriror did Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb.
And we're just going to use hammer strats here.
Yep, really quick hammer fight there.
Yeah, 4 actual shots. It looked like he had like 6 or 7, because spikes. And unfortunately, when Moth gets hit by a spike, he has iframes, and your shot doesn't actually register.
All right, so we'll see if Aries is going to give us our pedestal check here with that mirror in the book. Yep, we'll get to see if there's going to be Ether Medallion or Hook Shot here. Could also be a sword, but it's unlikely that there's a sword here. It's required.
Nothing on pad, just a heart piece.
So we won't need to be collecting any pendants today unless we need to get the boss items or the green pendant tournament item.
We'll see if Eri does go ahead and get that powder. And if he gets that powder, it might incentivize him just do the full smith chain.
Yeah, that's a good point. That would give him an extra check while he's going over there.
And he's got all the good items to do it quickly, so it wouldn't be a terrible idea. I think we haven't seen K45, so you might see him drag the purple chest there and then either flute or do the leave the chest and pick it up. Actually, probably would leave the chest pick in and mirror in front of the locksmith, just because, well, you do have the Bombos tablet. On the other hand, we can't get the Bombos item because we're still on Fighter Sword.
Yep. Yeah, because Eri is pretty. If he doesn't do the smith chain the way you mentioned, K45 is pretty isolated from him. I believe Shadyforce did not do Stumpy or Dig Game. Oh no, he did do Dig Game because he has the red boomerang. So yeah.
Oh, Eri just getting trolled by those hands again. Oh my. I was gonna go this way because he's got plenty of keys. It's a little bit faster.
Yeah, knowing that this is either going to be an item or the big key, you definitely go back for this.
That powder, and we'll see what he does next. Yeah, as Rick says in chat, Wallmaster 2, Eri 0.
Yeah, those Wallmasters can really get the better of you sometimes. Especially when you're playing Randomizer and they show up in rooms that they don't normally show up in.
Oh, you know, I don't understand why Randomizer puts them in rooms that they're not supposed to be in, but doesn't take them out of the rooms they are. Like, can we have it both ways, please? Yeah, this is Smith Chain from Eri.
And Shadyforce is able to take advantage of that half magic there to have a pretty straightforward cold stare fight there. Just he's able to get rid of them with a fire rod.
Yeah, half magic on cold stare with the fire rod is really nice. Like I've said it before, I'd rather have a fire rod than a master sword in that situation. A fire rod with lots of magic behind it.
Yeah, because the fire rod does as much damage as a tempered sword spin or a gold sword slash, and you can get splash damage to hit more than one of them at once. So it's really nice.
Okay, nothing at hammer pegs. Ooh, Shady looks like he's headed towards pod.
Yeah, this could be a big play either way for one of these runners, because if we find something we need in either of these checks.
That's not something we need.
And if we don't find it in either of these checks, then that probably means that we're going to have to go up to Turtle Rock, because there's some other one-offs that we haven't seen, like Hera Basement, but other than that, mainly Turtle Rock.
Okay, we're going to do the bat check.
And we got both of our bows early, so we won't see. It's not really useful to know if pod is bow locked or not, but we'll get to see if it is, and it is not.
Okay, Eri just gonna flute with that purple chest. Looks like he was making a decision of some sort there.
Yeah, I think he might have remembered Bombo's tablet, but I guess you can always just think, okay, I'll do Bombo's tablet last if we're getting close to Hookless Swamp.
Bottle of green. I mean, at least that one comes pre-filled with something useful, but definitely not what you want.
Oh, I didn't even notice the green potion at first there because of the grass.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I think it was a slightly different color, but it's definitely harder to see than usual.
All right, so Eri has not done Pyramid or Catfish, so we'll see if this is just Bombo's tablet or going over to the Pyramid. Looks like Bombo's tablet.
Or possibly K45. Because when he did that earlier, he didn't have the hammer because he did it out of Hype Cave.
Yeah. And there's our
Oh,
Ether
there's
medallion.
Ether. So there's one of our needed items.
See if Pod has both. There's our blue boomerang on Bombo's tablet, so not gonna need that
not
one.
gonna need that. That's a nice item to have, especially as an NMG runner like Ari, because there are some nice blue boomerang strats in GT, but definitely not worth the trouble to go back and get that.
Yeah, it's too long of a check.
Now, Shady gonna keep going on in Pod. I kind of like the idea of just leaving at this point with that Ether going into Mire, because you've done the front part. Not that difficult to come back here, although it is kind of a long walk. And that's probably what he's thinking, because, you know, Hookshot could be here as well.
Yeah, I think with the also being on Fighter Sword, I think tips it a little bit, because, like, yeah, like you said, the Hookshot could be here. There could also just be one of our other swords here, so
yeah, that's true.
We might need that at some point. And it's a really long walk to come back here.
Oh, we have a shovel to check here, too. That has just bombs. Okay, Ari, where are we going next? Like we're headed to the mountain, gonna rescue the old man, and this could be the Turtle Rock play. If Turtle Rock has a hook shot, that's gonna be interesting. Very interesting if each one of these runners gets one of the needed items.
Yeah, we'll see if Ilex go all the way up to Turtle Rock here. Because sometimes you'll see a sort of an insurance. You'll rescue the old man. You can use the save and quit point to go to Turtle Rock next. Because maybe your opponent rescued the old man out of logic. And there's our Master Sword.
Oh, there's a Master Sword. So we know where 2 swords are, but 2 more out in the wild. He's got that flute out. Okay, looks like he's not using it, so gonna keep going here. Got the mirror out, so that says he's gonna go over to Turtle Rock.
Yep, and he has Hera Basement here if you really want to do that.
That's really gross.
That is a fun check.
That is a location that we do have, and both runners had to skip it.
Yeah, I think you'd only do that on the way out of Turtle Rock, but we'll see. Nope, looks like he's going right for it.
I mean, parts of Turtle Rock not in logic, parts of Pod not in logic, so that might be part of his thinking.
Yeah, that's very true.
With the fire rod.
That's a very good point, because there's only going to be what Pod is going to be everything but 4 items or 4 locations, whereas Turtle Rock's going to be missing all of Laser Ridge.
Okay, Shady's going to leave Pod and just go do Mire right now with that Ether. So that's 2. I don't know if Helma has an item. I wasn't paying close enough attention, so maybe chat can enlighten us. But it does leave that green pendant behind, so. But I like this. This is a crystal that you now can full clear, so you might as well just do it, and then Pod will still be there if you need it.
Yeah, getting all the way to Helmasaur, it's quite a long check, so definitely understandable to skip that.
There's a lamp.
That is a mean lamp location.
That is a terrible location for the lamp.
Yeah, so now any of those considerations about what's in logic without the lamp no longer really apply here, but you definitely go to Turtle Rock because you're up here. You don't want to have to climb up here again.
Not until you're ready to go to GT, of course.
Yeah. So hookshot being up here would be really big for Airy. Otherwise, it probably is going to be pretty good for Shadyforce.
Yeah, at this point, we're kind of down to it being in Turtle Rock. It could be deeper in Pod, and it could be Hookless Swamp.
Yeah, the Hookless Swamp is definitely what you don't want to do that, but
yeah, and
it becomes more likely.
And of course, Shady still has Mire checks to do. Could be right here in Mire. It was yesterday, so it could happen again. The bad thing about Hookshot for Airy is it could get him into a full clear swamp. Shady will not be full clearing swamp unless Hookshot's sitting there on that left side, because that's all he needs for go mode. On the other hand, if it were, say, Helma or Green Pendant, then advantage Airy, because by the time he gets to Pod, oops. Failing the IQ test of I don't have Hookshot yet. We've all done that. But yeah, when Airy gets to Pod, if the Hookshot is still not found, he probably does full clear it at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that we know that you have to get the pod over at some point.
And we're now to the point where 20 rupees is going to mean hearts.
Yep,
Pull up on one or the other.
Think I don't know if we're listing pieces or heart container, because we have seen Sank Heart over on Aries' side, so there could be one heart container or a few heart pieces left.
Gonna get that half magic. Vanilla big key over in Misery Mire, so not gonna be able to save a lot of time go-moding Misery Mire.
Yeah, and then after Aries done with Turtle Rock, I think we'll know where the hook shot is, right? Because what we have left besides Swamp after this.
Yeah,
Green
Swamp,
Pendant.
Yeah, Green Pendant, and like I said, if there's an item on Helmosaur. And Aries gonna be paying attention to whether he gets Map and Compass. He already knows that Pet is dead. Since this is not the Green Pendant. If he doesn't get both, if there's a Map or a Compass left after he gets through Laser Bridge, he's not gonna kill Trinex. No reason to do it.
Yep, already having that knowledge of Pedestal being dead, Pendant is not worth anything.
Okay, I believe this is our last check in Mire, except for Vidi himself. And I believe that's our second item, so the hookshot is not in Misery Mire. Nice free refill for Shady, though. And a Vanilla Big Key and Turtle Rock as well. I mean, when the developers made this game initially, they really did put the big keys in some of the worst locations in the dungeons. And the only time it's not in the absolute worst location is probably Pod. And then the big chest is in a terrible location, so.
Alright, we'll get to see the Shadyforce has to do this room in the dark. Probably never going to get that lamp this seed.
No, probably not. I mean, he might if he has to come up Turtle Rock, but yeah, you're right. There's a good chance he skips it. I mean, it's hard to justify going. I mean, Eri did it, but kind of hard to justify doing the one check over the 5. Well, it'd be 5 for him if you count Mimic Cave, because he's already gotten the half magic.
Yeah, I guess maybe if it's Hookless Swamp that has the hook shot, then I guess there's a decent chance he does it, because I feel like if you're Shadyforce, you come up to do Turtle Rock before that. So maybe not.
This is where I really miss not having quick swap, because I would really like to see a menu right now to see if Eri has a Map and Compass yet. I don't think I've seen it, but
yeah, I don't think that we've seen any of them. I don't remember what Chomp Chest was, but I know the first 3 chests.
There's a map. But yeah, so we've seen at least the map.
And Shadyforce taking down Vitreous there with the bow and those Master Sword spins. Definitely nice to get that Master Sword and pod and make those spins a lot more effective than if it was Fighter Sword only. All right, so Eri going to show us Laser Bridge. That's going to have the bulk of the items left in Turtle Rock. We're going to have at least 1 key here, and I think we might be able to the compass. And there is the compass, so there's only going to be 2 items here.
So there is an item on, and a heart of some sort. Going to be an item on Trinex. And there's the hook shot! So does Eri go and finish this then? I mean, I guess you do, but he's going to go into Swamp next. He's not going to get his ether there. So it's kind of a matter of, can he get to that ether medallion over in Pod before Shady gets to the hook shot? And I'd say Shady has the advantage. Looks like he's heading straight towards Turtle Rock right now.
Yeah, I think Shady does have the advantage here. Not going to do Hera Basement. Like you're mentioning, Aries probably going to full clear Swamp Palace here. You could, maybe Swamp Palace has a relatively nice layout and you don't go to the left side. But yeah, this is probably pretty good for shadyforce here.
Yeah, and the other problem for Eri, we don't know where those other 2 swords are, and he might run into them, but he's probably not going to get the one that's sitting there in pod.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that Ether came up early enough that you just leave at that point and you just hope to find a sword on path.
Yeah, it's pretty likely there's at least one sword in Ganon's tower at this point, but it could be in a mean location in Ganon's tower.
Of course, you know, Swamp always has swords, so it could just be there.
A nice hammer Trinex fight there by Eriror. Shadyforce remembering at the last minute that you don't have the hookshot here, so have to go the long way here.
Yeah, he remembered a little bit sooner than Eri did, at least.
And Eri not even going to bother picking up that pendant since it's completely useless.
Yeah, gonna run over to Swamp Palace. It looks like it's heart containers that Aries maxed out on, because Shady just picked up a heart container where there was a green 20. That's a little bit better, because then you get that, when you get that last heart piece, if you get it, it gives you a nice free refill.
Yeah, you can get a convenient free refill on the GT climb, especially since they're in Fighter Sword right now, so you'll probably open some extra chests trying to get... Well, definitely for Eri, we'll have to open some extra to try to get the Master Sword, but even if you're on Master Sword, still want to open up a few extra ones. Yeah, so I think if the Swamp Palace layout is particularly nice and has the map and the compass on the left side, then that'd be really good here for Eri to make up some time that Shadyforce might save just by having gone to pod first.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have to see how many items. If it's just, say, 1 item on the left side, because you're going to go to the back first. You're go -1. You hope to never have to go. You hope you find that Ether Medallion in this dungeon. You're not going to go to the left side first. But he'll have to make a decision afterwards. Oh, there's always a sword in the swamp, you know? Shady might not get that, because he'll be in go mode when he goes into swamp. So we're going to be even on swords, very likely. But,
that's the one question.
So if we see this 1 item on the left side, you might just go to pod just because, well, just item density. Yeah,
because it's kind of, if it's 1 item, I think it makes a lot of sense to go to pod. If it's 2, I think you might get into the trap where it's like, okay, pod's been available for a while. There's a pretty high likelihood my opponent did that, so I want to
and heaven forbid if we get the layout where you get a late big key and 2 late lamp and compass and it's 3 items on left side. Then it's really hard to not go back in.
Yeah, and also about that bomb chest, that's like the closest check that people will skip in go mode frequently. You'll sometimes see runners either autopilot or just do it anyway, but yeah, like you're mentioning, Shadyforce kind of likely to not get that.
Well, that's a very easy one to autopilot. If he does, he'll be pretty good, because that tempered sword's awfully nice, but we'll see if he autopilots to the good or if he just leaves it. And of course, we might run into another sword in GT.
Yeah, because like even when you're in go mode, probably going to check the sunken chests and maybe even the waterfall chests because they're just right there, whereas that bombable wall one is just a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, the real issue for Eri is that he can't gain time. He won't be able to gain a ton of time in Mire, that big key being vanilla. I did not see if it was a small key leading to it, so he might be able to, he'll at least likely be able to save time by not going to the big chest and not going to the chest right next to the big chest. But yeah, it's still it's not a God Mire where Shady would have full cleared a Misery Mire that Eri is now going to be able to just skip most of. And there is that compass. I think that's the first dungeon item we've seen, so that means 1 item for sure on the left side, possibly 2.
Yeah, hopefully Argus will have our item.
Chat saying map and compass have been seen, so...
Yeah, so you really don't want to have the big key on Argus, because then it's really
then
tempting to go in.
It's really hard not to go in. Shady, of course, having to do this room in the dark, but if you know what you're doing, it's actually no slower, because it's, I mean, think of it as an auto-scroller.
Yeah, surprisingly one of the easier dark rooms in the game once you know how to do that little roller coaster thing.
All right, no big Argus. So are we going back in, or are we going to pod? I don't know that he has any other options.
Yeah, I think pod is the only play that you go to after this. So if he goes right over to pod, it'll still be a fairly close race. But if he goes in to do left side swamp, that's just gonna be a straight time loss. I guess he has pyramid.
Yeah, pyramid fairy. Oh. I mean, you could be taking this into pod. Do we have Pyramid Fairy? I'm trying to see what our
Yes, it's Swamp and Ice.
Yeah, that's a time loss. I mean, if he gets a sword out of this, then, you know, maybe. This is not looking good for Eri. Shady just needs to go mode through Swamp. Eri needs to get into pod, get that Ether Medallion, get over to Mire, and clear Mire. And it's not going to be a quick Mire.
Yeah, not with the vanilla big key. If there was a key in the compass chest, then maybe you could get to the vanilla big key a little quicker, but I can't remember if that was the case.
Yeah, I didn't see if there was a key in the compass chest. If it had been, you know, a Godmire, then it's such a quick dungeon in that situation.
And we'll see if Eri elects to go all the way to Catfish here too, because
that would be
still has that.
Oh god, a mushroom. That is not what you want.
Yeah, that might even push you up.
Oh.
That might push you towards Catfish. Yeah. The mirroring here is good to probably not do Catfish.
Yeah, but he's going to check that mushroom right away. That could still be a sword. He really, I mean, his best chance is if he can get a sword somewhere. Nope, he's just going straight to pod. So he's making the right play, but I don't know that it's going to be enough unless he, like I said, unless he gets a sword that Shady doesn't.
Yeah,
that could still happen in GT, but...
We saw Shadyforce elect to not get the sword that's in Swamp Palace.
Yep. Which is, I mean, it's the right call for his situation, you know. You don't know that it's tempered. There's a million other things it could be at this point. Really, that's the only thing that can help you. So you just kind of expect it's not going to be a sword, and Eri gets hit by something, so it has to go back and recollect Kiki there.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely that there is a sword in GT. We don't know if these runners will collect it because the big key might be early and it might be a late sword, but we haven't really seen Green Pendant plus Helma Sword this seed. Everything else we've seen.
Yeah, left side swamp as well. So there's not there's very little left. Trinex Hassel has an item.
Well, we got the Trinex item from Eri's side.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did. I don't know why I forgot that he'd actually finished that.
Yeah, he didn't collect the pendant, but he did.
No, he did not collect the pendant. And of course, when you're in go mode and you check the on-path chests, they're all the maps and compasses.
Yep.
Yeah. So to answer the question, Chad, about would it be worth the time difference be worth it to get that sword on Shady's side? Well, yeah, if you know it's a sword. The problem is he has no way of knowing it's a sword. So if it's anything but a sword, it's just a straight up time loss. And are you gonna do this hover, or gonna try to do this hover? Gonna try for it again. This is where the ether was, so this will be a nice time save if he can get it. But Shady already in Argus, so.
Yeah, that hover does save a lot of time. It's just very difficult because you have to not only do a hover, you have to precisely align yourself on that rail to get the rail clip.
Yeah, I like to talk about how that's one of the hardest hovers in the game, but I get that from other people that can hover. I have no skill there whatsoever, so I just trust them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hovering plus also lining up pretty nicely on a pixel.
Exactly.
But it will save. It's one of the most consistent hovers that can save time because a lot of the other ones are situational, whereas that one's going to come up basically anytime you have boots and want to get those chests in pod. And yeah, so chat is posting some numbers. Tracy, you want to talk about that?
Numbers. Lots of numbers. Yeah, we don't have a bot anymore. He's still sick, but we do have still have 22 locations that Big Key could be at Ganon's Tower. And if you haven't already, go ahead and put those numbers in. I like the 9.25 from Rick and the pi from Marty. Yeah, good luck with that. But one of those will be our Big Key, and if you're correct, then you win absolutely nothing but bragging rights and, yeah. But bragging rights. But those are always fun.
Yeah, and so we'll see. Eri probably going to be... We'll probably have the Big Key about the time shadyforce is going into GT.
Yeah, so in the end, the biggest difference here wasn't Eri going into Turtle Rock before going into Pod, because, I mean, that Turtle Rock was required. The Smith Chain checks, the Skull Woods checks, the Ped check, all that, really getting him away from, where he needed to be. But when you get to that point where it's Pendant Dungeons and Smith Chain and your choices are just all bad, it's hard to make that correct decision.
Yeah, because with the skip of Left Side Swamp, didn't end up really getting hurt by not being able to go mode Swamp. It just did the 2 extra checks, and one of them being a sword.
Yeah, and a sword that he needed because he wasn't getting the one in Pod.
All right, so Shady making his way into Ganon's Tower. Going to close out our guesses. So our first check here will be the Torch. Torch is just a 20 rupees today, so check number 1's not the Big Key. Gonna move into 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. 2 is red 20, 3 is Arcane of Burna, 4 is another red 20, and number 5 is a small key.
I'm gonna mirror out and go back to the right side. In the meantime, as it turns out, there was not a small key in the compass chest, so Eri's gonna be led further away from the correct location for that Big Key. I'm probably gonna last location it.
Gonna show off some nice rail clips, though.
Those are always fun.
All right, so we saw 6 chests, 6 and 7. I did not see what they were, but they were not the Big Key. So
one was a small key, and yeah, definitely not the Big Key.
So we'll get to see 8, 9, 10, 11 over in the compass room here. All right, 8 is the map. 9 is 10 arrows. 10 is 20 rupees, and 11 is 50 rupees. And not going to bother stealing that key. Already having 3 keys, don't need to go in that portal there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, get our first look at check number 12 here. It's 10 arrows, so we're going to have to go even deeper into Ganon's Tower. And meanwhile, Ares making his way down to Meyer. Does have the lamp here, so doesn't have to deal with the dark room, but probably not going to be enough time save here.
Oh yeah. I mean, that lamp is nice, but it'll at best say. I mean, it depends on the torch glitch situation, but it'll unless shadyforce has a hard time with that torch glitch, it'll about save the amount of time that it took to pick it up.
Yeah, I guess getting to do spooky here saves a little bit more time too, because I don't believe Shady was able to pull off dark spooky while he was going.
Yeah, dark spooky is hard.
All right, so 13, 14, 15, 16, I believe. Maybe
in
I'm
case
off by
we
one.
didn't have enough rupees already.
Yeah, so that was actually, up to 17. All right, so Eri cutting it a little close, but whipping out the cape here to finish off the small eyeballs on Vitreous, and gonna just arrow the big eye to death. All right, so Aries got his 7th crystal, be able to climb up to GT as well, while shadyforce check number 18 there is just another red 20, so we're going to have to go down to Ice Armos. So it's a bit surprising, not only have we not seen the big key, haven't seen another sword yet, so maybe it's not in GT.
It could be in the climb. I think you do check the climb, unless you find it here.
Yeah, it's especially since now you know that, okay, I've checked most of this game and still haven't found a sword.
If it's right here, I might even... Okay, he's not. I might have even checked the big chest at that point. Like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't go
definitely.
out of my way to go to the big chest, but if I'm already having killed Armos Knights, I might have just gone and checked it just to see if it's that 4th sword. Of course, he doesn't know it would be the 4th sword. As far as he knows, it could be 2 in GT.
Yeah, I think if you're on Fighter Sword, you definitely check the big chest down there, but with Master, it's a little bit... He hasn't done... Well, from our perspective, it's more likely to be a sword because we've seen more items than
locations,
Shadyforce.
yeah,
Shadyforce still has, like, the Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, Smith Chain.
Yeah, now if you're still on Fighter Sword, then I actually like to try and route it so that I'm guaranteed to have that big key when I get to that location. Just because, so which basically means doing an earlier tile room check, which also could be a sword, but no one does tile room just for a sword on Master Sword. On Fighter Sword, yeah. On Master Sword, no.
Yeah, the time save for Tempered Sword is not going to outdo the tile room, even if it is the Tempered Sword for sure.
If it is a Tempered Sword, but if it isn't, oh my god, that's such a time loss.
Yeah, it's like best case scenario, you save like 10 seconds, and then worst case scenario, you just lose a minute.
Yep.
And Shady's doing a pretty nice job here on the climb, able to knock both those red guys into the spikes with the Master Sword. And he's having half magic here should make this Lamb almost 2 fight relatively quick. That Medusa head just annoys you just enough to mess up your fire rod shots sometimes.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Gonna do the 2 cycle here.
With half magic, that'll be fine. He's gonna get a nice refill at the end. Probably still has that blue potion he bought way back before Ice Palace. Eri not gonna gain any time in GT.
Yeah, it's really hard to gain time with it being on the Ice Armos.
Yeah, well, yeah. He could have gained time if he'd gone Hope Room first and then gone left, but yeah, not gonna do the Dark Magician route. So unless he goes full left, full right, which almost no one ever does. Oh, or does a tile room gamble, which is not gonna be the answer. But maybe we'll see a sword.
Yeah, Eri's feeling a bit behind here.
Yeah.
The way he's did his pendants and also doing like Hera basement, so he's gonna take a risk here. And yeah, Shadyforce is gonna check these chests here. We see just a red 20 in that one, and another red 20. We're looking for a red sword, not a red rupee.
Yeah, we need all that money. The game says for some reason.
And the single arrow.
Single arrow. Oh, that's so disgusting.
Not even just a nothing. And there's another green 20. See if the Moldorm sprite can pull a Tempered Sword from the Moldorm chest.
So I guess we're down to big chest, Helmet Thorin green pendant, left side swamp.
Yeah, really. And then the GT big chest and this one here. And It's not this one. All right, so shadyforce is going to give us our Aghanim 2 fight. I get to do some geometry practice and try to get some nice patterns to do a quick Aghanim fight here. So Devin, I'm only getting singles on the last 2, so we're gonna need to get another double here. And okay, yeah, they're just 2 out of sync. But able to finish him out here. So shadyforce going to go into his Master Sword Ganon fight, which is not an easy fight, but at least he's got 14 hearts, half magic, the cape, the lamp, or doesn't have the lamp, but has some potions, so it won't be the worst Master Sword fight you can get. I'm going to use the Cane of Samaria here to try to get some extra double spins with the Master Sword. Really nice strategy. Just barely missing out on the cycle ending there. Needed to get that second double spin a little bit quicker. But we're going into phase 2 here. Again, using that Cane of Samaria block. Just getting a little bit hit by that Fire Bat to mess him up. And getting a little bit low on health and having that blue potion definitely makes a lot of sense to use the cane here to get as many spins as possible.
Yeah, again, using your resources of health and your magic resources at the same time. He's gonna have to use that bottle pretty soon.
All right, so we're gonna move phase 3, pretty quick, simple phase, and then we're just gonna have to settle in for 24 Master Sword Silverless spins.
Yeah, once you get past that phase 2, that's the really hard one. Phase 3 is a little annoying, but you have to do a sword spin instead of a slash. But phase 4 is just slow because you have to do twice as many as you're used to with. And we do get the torch glitch, so just 24 spins. I say just, but it's a lot of spins.
Yeah, it's just like the Tempered Sword, just twice as long. That's
yeah,
like
exactly.
you mentioned, those first 2 phases, you have to actually do different stuff because the spinning is different than just slashing. Whereas here, you were doing spins anyway, just gotta have to do more of them. And definitely an important torch glitch to hit, because still, even with the half magic, and I think he even has another potion, but being down to the Fire Rod makes it risky. Doing a pretty good job here, getting some triples on this Ganon fight. I think we're probably going to need, I don't know, 4 more cycles or so. Getting another nice triple here, and down goes Ganon on shadyforce side. So just gonna have to cross this bridge, and we'll be able to advance to the top 8 here of the Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament. So get your GGs in chat here for shadyforce. Definitely a nice race here by him.
And he'll cross that bridge with an official race time of 1:32:17. It's like Eri's gonna keep on going. And we are joined by shadyforce. GG's.
Hey, thank you very much.
So any first thoughts here on this seed here, Shadyforce?
Well, I liked getting the boots in the Uncle corridor. That was pretty nice. We were
Late
talking
sword
about how we
doesn't-
wish we could roll a casual boot seed, and we got the boots at least, even though if we had to wait a little bit for the sword.
Yeah, you
Well,
got
I
the
did
boots,
anyway.
but not the casual. Yeah. No, you both did.
So yeah, so that was nice, and there's a lot of traps in this seed, and I can only assume Eri ended up going down some of the reasonable plays that would have led to nothing.
Yeah, there was a. I mean, there's a point in time where you all had the choice of Turtle Rock, Pod, and Smith Chain, and he hadn't done any of Skullwood, so he went to Skullwoods into the Smith Chain, and then did TR and then Pod. You just went straight to Pod and then Admire and did TR, and I think it was more that Smith Chain that Skullwoods play, and we're gonna go ahead and bring in Arian right now because he's gonna finish. I think you can all trust that, and we'll watch him finish as we talk to him.
Yo, GG,
Yeah.
Eri.
GG Shady. Very nice.
This is not how it was meant to go. This is not how we get the Eri Buane Dream final.
Then you shouldn't have routed out of your mind, I guess.
Yeah, what are you doing skipping Smith Chain, Shady? I mean, what's that about?
I had dungeons to go to.
Yeah, you
Overworld bad, dungeons good.
Yeah, I guess that one of the other main things was Ari ended up also doing the Hera basement up there on the way to Turtle Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he got a lamp out of it, so it's not a total loss, but yeah, I mean, it's still a time sink.
Was that a lamp in Hera basement again? Oh my
Yeah.
god, I had
Yep.
that. Wow. Okay.
No, but I was feeling really good about my rat, so I thought I could just be like pretty efficient. Yeah, just to Hera basement before Turtle Rock. It's like, okay, well, lamp is fine. I saved a little bit of time on it, like despite the investment. And the hookshot was like, okay, well, maybe Ether in the back of swamp, and otherwise I'll just do Pyramid Fairy into pod. Yeah, I never felt really bad, so I actually thought that I could do Tall Room as like a buffer, just to make sure that Shady doesn't like suddenly gain 10 minutes on me in GT basement. But yeah.
Yeah, at that point, it was an interesting choice. But at that point, he was already quite a bit ahead, so it didn't actually hurt you. I mean, it didn't make the difference.
No. But yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing I was unhappy about was like the Skullwoods decision, but I really wanted to know if it was pet or not because it had been available. And yeah, I don't know. But that's random.
Yeah, yep, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like I don't feel like I did anything too crazy. I just didn't quite get around to some checks that ended up just not having anything, and then I never had to do them at all. Things like Helma and Green Pendant and Smith Chain. I guess they're the main ones.
Yeah.
The other thing was I almost dipped Swamp instead of going to Turtle Rock. I was trying to decide which one of those was the better play.
Ooh. Well, you would have
Um,
gotten a tempered sword had you dipped Swamp, because the first chest in Swamp was a sword.
Oh wow! Okay.
Because
did
if you're
you
not
get that, Ari?
go-modding,
I got the swamp one because I cleared swamp instead of
Because Ether was your go mode in pod,
Yeah,
and you wouldn't have got
yeah.
the pod sword. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, no idea where the fourth one was because neither of you got it. Maybe in GT Big Chest, I don't know.
Yeah, it really had to be either GT Big Chest, Helma Sword Green Pendant, or the
Left side.
left
Swamp.
side Swamp.
Or Tile Room.
No, it
I
wasn't
already showed us
Tyler.
Tyler Room.
Oh, was it not Tile Room?
It
No,
What?
Tall Room
was
was
a
a
single
single
arrow.
How do we know that? Okay.
So, Shadyforce, you're going to go on to play Obscure Life Form in the top 8. Do you have any experience going up against that player?
Oh, that's gonna be hype because this is gonna be like a little Battle of Britain right here, because we both live in the UK. So
Oh, nice, easy scheduling.
Yeah, that's
Schedule
nice.
some
Yeah,
day
I know,
games.
right?
I like calling day games.
yeah, I
not
know.
these like 8:30, 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time games, but like noon Central are really good.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some games at a good time.
Yeah, I believe that would be like 5 p.m. Britain time for. All right, so there we see Ari closing out the Ganon fight, so get your GGs in chat for him, even though he's already in the interview here.
Yep, finishing up with an official race time of 1:37.57. And I guess an appropriate message there at the end there.
Yeah, so be it.
But I mean, you've had a pretty good turn. I mean, getting to the 16 is really, really good. You know, having just won the NMG tournament, you know, nothing to be ashamed about here. Just, you know, it's random. Things just don't always go the right way. It just happens.
Yeah, I feel like I've played well for like 90% of the tournament, and I've had a few sloppy games, but even those, I don't think it really mattered that much. I'm just really happy with how it went, and all the grats to Shady. Hope he makes it far now. You know, pass on the torch. You get to win the
Thanks,
tournament.
We might have to settle on the Shady Boyne final. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
fun.
take that. I'll take that.
That'll be another NMG battle.
All right, so you guys got anything you want to say before we close out here?
Just Dana and Tracy, and thanks for commentating at this early hour, and everyone else on the crew. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to watching it back.
Yeah, can only agree. Happy that we got to close out the race, or close out the match with issueless race.
Yeah. No internet failures, power failures, crashes, nothing like that. So.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, thanks so much for the race, Shady, and good luck in a little bit with your SMW stuff.
Oh yeah, thanks. In a couple of hours, and good luck to you too in what I assume is going to be a world record grind. I'm really looking out for it. You know, I'll be there watching and cheering you on.
Yeah, I'll have to see like what I'm going to focus on, but it'll probably just be some vanilla. But I've been having a lot of fun with the rando ever since the tourney got announced. I've been taking a little bit of a break, like going hardcore on rando, but like I don't know, no complaints. Been playing really well. So let's see if I can maybe get like top ranking on the ladder or something. I'll be around. But yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's a great time to say follow these runners and see what they're going to be up to. Shadyforce still going to be going and probably going to do some tournament practice, going to have the top 8 coming up, but it's definitely good to check these runners out on their own time when they're doing their own thing, can interact with chat. So give these runners a follow. They put out a great show today, and the runners are the stars of the show. Without them, there's no tournament at all.
Absolutely. And we do have one more spot left in the top 8. That'll be determined tonight. That first we'll have game 2 of Alizen versus Zelgadison. That'll be at 5:10 right here on the main SpeedGaming channel. And if that goes to a game 3, I want to say Zelga's up 1-0. I should double check that. Then that'll be almost immediate, not quite immediately after. They'll take a little bit of a break, but at 8:10 that is the schedule. That'll be over on SpeedGaming as well. So still some action yet to come in this round.
Yeah, and you're correct. Zelgadison is up 1-0 on Alizen, so Alizen will need to take game 2 to force that game 3.
All right, but so yeah, definitely still some fun to be had. Finish out this round of 16. Doing it tonight will be a fun watch for all.
Yeah, and definitely a shout outs here to our tracker, Bandman25, did a great job keeping us commentators honest and showing us what items we've got. And shout outs to my co-com Tracy M, did another great job here today. Had a lot of fun commentating this race.
Thank you very much, Dane. And of course, our trackers, the true MVPs, they're the ones doing the hard work, not us. So thank you to Bandman. Big shout outs to him. Yeah, that's going to do it for us. We'll see you all at the next race.